Okay, today we're going to do a complete, well not a complete, but a disassembly and reassembly of the RUGER standard. The Mark 1 is going to be the same if you have that model, and I believe the Mark 2 is the same too. Obviously, first thing we're going to do, safety check the weapon, safe direction, magazine out, lock the bolt back, chamber's empty, safe direction, fire. You want the gun decocked fired before disassembly. First thing we're going to do is take the mainspring housing out back here. You can use a paper clip. I've seen people use screwdrivers. Some of them are really tough. Just try to be careful not to scratch it. I use a zip tie. I'm just going to put it in that indentation back here, slide it down, and pull it out. Your mainspring housing is just going to swing up like you would the blade of a knife and pull it straight down. Now some of these, especially newer ones or ones that are kind of seized up, you might have to take a rubber mallet and hammer down that pin right there. But this should pull right out. Next we're going to take the receiver barrel assembly off the frame. What you're going to do is just push the barrel forward. We'll unlock it, lift straight off. Bolt easy enough, it just slides straight out the back. Next we're going to take the recoil spring assembly off. Push back on this spring right here. Spring right here. If you leave the tension, just lift it up a little bit. And sometimes this forward assembly is hard to get off. You're just going to pry that off of there. Pop right out. Next is your firing pin stop. Firing pin's under a little bit of spring pressure. You're just going to take your pin, push it through, pull it out. There goes the firing pin. And you can just take your firing pin out, and there's a spring in there also. And that is it for the disassembly. Next we're going to reassemble the RUGER standard. First thing we're going to do, first I want to show you is a spring assembly for your firing pin. This lip that bends right here, that lip is going to go down into the bolt. There's a slot. There's a slot in the bolt right here that lip's going to fit in. Can you see that? Right there. What we're going to do, lip down, just going to put it in there, drop it in. Not quite in there. There. Now I'll just push up on that spring a little bit, make sure it's seated in the front. There it goes. Just make sure that's seated in there. Next we're going to do, one other thing I wanted to show you real quick. Just to let you know how this works, kind of goes together easier. Once this is in here and you put your firing pin in, this ledge right here is going to catch onto the spring. That'll make sense while we do it like we did. Okay, let me put this back in. Lip facing down. Make sure it's seated in there. Okay, we're going to put the firing pin in there. The holes are going to line up, but what we want to do is put it back a little bit. When we push it forward, that lip on the firing pin I showed you will catch onto that spring. So we'll start our pin in, our firing pin, and this firing pin stop is very important. If you forget to put this in and you get it all together, the first time you fire this, your firing pin is going to spring forward and it'll dent the back of your chamber. It'll ruin the whole barrel receiver assembly. So it's very important you don't forget to put this pin in. So we'll just start it in there and we'll slide the firing pin up. You should feel spring tension on there from where that lip's getting on that spring. And it slides right in there. Next thing we're going to do is put the recoil assembly back on. Just put it back in there, the half moon up, obviously. Pull back on the spring a little bit and just line those bars, fit right in Fit right in there. You can move it back and forth, make sure your circle's round. Okay, next important thing when reassembling this, a lot of people have trouble with this. This right here, let's see if I can. That is going to be your mainspring plunger. And what happens is your hammer strut, which is, let me pull this back. This is your hammer strut. This is going to be facing down into the handle when we put this together, but this will fit into that mainspring plunger. If you don't have that lined up, then the gun's not going to function or cock back. So what you want to do, make sure that plunger goes down there, or that strut. You want your hammer about at that angle right there. Okay, one thing I want to show you before I put the barrel and everything on, your mainspring, I always want to show you how this works real quick. Before you worry about lining up that plunger and that hammer strut, you slide this in here. It's going to go up to the hole all the way. What you want to do is make sure this is what you're doing. You can't see all this when the barrel and everything. I just want to show you what's happening in there. Maybe you can, it'll be easier for you. You swing this up and this is going to lock onto here. So once you get it to that point, that's when it's going to lock up on to the barrel actually. So once you get it up there and this all locked together and everything, that's when you can worry about messing with the spring assembly or the mainspring plunger and the hammer strut. We'll put our bolt back in. When you put your bolt in, spring side up. The spring, when you see your spring going across the recoil spring assembly, it goes up. It just slides in the back of your barrel. We're going to line this square right here with this notch. That's going to lock it in. And your hammer right here is going to go into this slot. So make sure your bolt's all the way forward. Just going to line that up in there and push back on the barrel into the receiver as far as it'll go. Okay, next, don't worry about that that hammer strut yet. Have this straight up. You're going to put this straight back in there. Push it straight up. Through all the holes, you should see it protrude off the top of the barrel. There it goes. Now is when we're going to worry about, we're going to tilt it up a little bit to get that hammer strut swinging down there. And if it's not, when you put this in there, it'll be no spring pressure. It'll just go flat in. So what you want to do is pull it out a little bit, angle the barrel up in the air a little bit, and now I feel spring pressure, so I know that that hammer strut is in my mainspring plunger. Once that's in there, you're just going to fold this back up, it'll lock back in. That's it to it. Do a quick function check on it. Cock it back, safe direction. It fires. Safety on, doesn't fire. And that's it for the disassembly and reassembly of the Ruger standard Mark I, and I believe the Mark II is the exact same way. That's it.